Good morning. This is Kathleen Clow with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Monday, August 4th, 2025. The fire potential impacts across the next few days include the chance for mixed wet and dry thunderstorms across western and northern central Idaho, as well as western Wyoming. Today's main concern is for gusty winds between 30 and 40 miles per hour and low RH across central Idaho, southeastern Nevada, most of Utah, and the Arizona Strip, where minimum relative humidities will be in the single digits. This zone of 30 to 40 mile per hour winds and single digit RH expands west on Tuesday to include a larger portion of southeastern Nevada and again expands further west into eastern Nevada as well as north to cover more of Utah on Wednesday. Radar estimates from the past 24 hours show sparse precipitation of up to a quarter inch falling across portions of northern Nevada and central Idaho, with up to a half inch seen in small pockets across central Idaho. Satellite loop from yesterday afternoon into the evening shows lightning strikes across the Nevada-Idaho border and central Idaho, lining up with areas that likely receive precipitation. In the past 24 hours, the Great Basin had 16 new starts for a total of 37 acres and a large fire growth of 14,687 acres. The past 3 days show the highest precipitation amounts in northwestern Nevada and the Nevada-Idaho border, as well as portions of central Idaho. These areas received at least a tenth of an inch with sparse pockets of up to 1 inch. The rest of the basin remained dry, with the last 30 days of precipitation remaining well below normal for most of the Great Basin except northwestern Nevada and portions of central Idaho. ERC values remain between 50 and 75% across western Idaho and the Sierra Front from recent precipitation, but are back on the rise in these areas. ERC values across eastern Nevada, Utah, eastern central Idaho, and western Wyoming remain extremely high, above 97%, and are on the rise across the Arizona Strip and southern Utah. Satellite loop from this morning shows a mix of smoke and clouds across the basin with some lingering storms across central Idaho and a few stray lightning strikes. Smoke impacts for today will occur over the Nevada-Idaho border and into central Nevada due to those northern Nevada fires, as well as the eastern half of Nevada from a large California wildfire. This smoke from California will travel into Utah as well and combine with smoke from the Monroe Canyon and Dragon Bravo fires, where we will see the most significant smoke impacts. A similar pattern occurs again on Tuesday. Today we've issued high risk for wind across the eastern half of the basin except western Wyoming. You can see that dry air and gusty winds across much of Utah. The Sierra Front and northern central Idaho remain at low to little or no risk due to previous precipitation and higher RH values. Here in the convective outlook, you can see that marginal area outlined with the T-storm risk across central Idaho, where we've marked in our 3-day we expect to see some wet and dry storms. On the right, you can see we expect up to a tenth of an inch of rain across most of that area, with pockets up north of up to a few tenths of an inch. Biggest concern today is that area of high winds over southeastern Nevada, Utah, and the Arizona Strip, where we expect to see gusts between 30 and 40 miles per hour. Minimum relative humidity still remain critical and in the single digits, between 4 and 7% across those gusty wind areas, and in the teens where we've been having our rain in the northern half of the basin. On Tuesday, that high risk area for wind decreases to include just southern Utah, parts of southeastern Nevada, and the Arizona Strip. The Sierra Front and northern central Idaho remain at low or little to no risk due to previous precipitation and higher RH values. There is no precipitation expected on Tuesday, and max temperatures will be between the mid 80s to low 90s for the northern half of the basin, and in the low to mid 90s and even triple digits across southern Nevada, Utah, and the Arizona Strip. The wind concern persists into Tuesday, where we expect to still see those 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts across southeastern Nevada, southern Utah, the Arizona Strip, and western Wyoming. Minimum relative humidity still remain critical and in the single digits between 5 and 10% across those gusty wind areas in the southern half of the basin, and in the teens to low 20s where we've been having our rain in the northern half of the basin. On Wednesday, that high risk area for wind expands to include more of eastern Nevada and parts of northern Utah. Western Wyoming has moved from low to moderate risk due to dry and breezy conditions, and the Sierra Front and northern central Idaho remain at low to little or no risk due to previous precipitation and higher RH values. We will be dry again on Wednesday with no chance of precipitation and max temperatures on the rise in between the mid 80s to mid 90s for the northern half of the basin and in the mid 90s to even triple digits across southern Nevada, Utah, and the Arizona Strip. So very similar conditions to Tuesday. That wind concern persists into Wednesday, where we expect to still see those 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts across southeastern Nevada, southern Utah, and the Arizona Strip. Minimum relative humidity still remain critical and in the single digits to low teens across those gusty wind areas in the southern half of the Great Basin, and in the low teens to low 20s where we've been having our rain in the northern half of the basin. The next 3 days of precipitation shows most of our precip across western and northern central Idaho. The rest of the basin will remain dry with no precipitation over our large fires. On Thursday, we've marked no high risk triggers, but most of the basin remains at moderate risk except the Sierra Front and northern central Idaho, which remain at low or to little or no risk due to the chance for spotty precipitation. You can see that dry air and kind of gusty conditions still remaining over the southern half of the basin, and then our chance for precip in these kind of black and green areas up north. On Friday, we've marked no high risk triggers, and most of the basin remains at a moderate risk. Eastern Idaho and western Wyoming move from moderate to low risk, and the Sierra Front and northern central Idaho remain at low to little or no risk due to the continued chance for that spotty precipitation, which you can see kind of here in the green and black on the left. On Saturday, things begin to dry out, and the Sierra Front is expected to move from low risk to moderate risk, and northern central Idaho from little to no risk to low risk. The rest of the basin remains at moderate risk due to those continued dry conditions, and you can see that dry air mass moving across Utah with those maybe gusty winds as well. On Sunday, conditions continue to dry out, causing most of the Great Basin except northern central Idaho to move to or remain at a moderate risk. You can see most of the basin under this large coverage of dry air on Sunday. The next 7 days of precipitation looks almost identical to our 3 day and show at least up to a tenth of an inch of rain across portions of central Idaho, and the rest of the basin remains completely dry again through these 7 days. The next 8 to 14 days show the chance for above normal temperatures from southern Idaho and south, and near normal temperatures across the rest of Idaho. The precipitation outlook shows near normal precipitation across western and northern Nevada and Idaho, but below average precipitation for the rest of the basin. That concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.